Alrighty, let's get into it. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Simming and Oz, and we are doing ourselves Grimmauld Place from Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. I failed spectacularly at this. I started out by making townhouses, and if you know anything about my building style, I'm not used to building like townhouses. Apartments aren't totally my thing. I do love doing apartments. They're really fun. And then, I love doing residential lots and everything, but townhouses are just something that's just a little too not in my alley. So I'd never actually made a proper townhouse before. I'd usually just stick to one big whole house. So today was a little bit of a stretch for me, but I was on Pinterest, I was looking for inspiration, and it sort of just all came together, though not quickly. It took a while. I was looking at photos and I just sort of incrementally add little bits of the facade. I think in this build I spent more time on the facade than I did on the actual interior. So as you can see, we've got two units going. The one on the left and one on the right. I had planned for Grimmauld Place to be a part of the one on the right because I wanted them to have that curve appeal, and that's how I always imagined it in my head. It was always the unit on the right, you enter, and the parlour is directly on your right. So it made sense in my head. And then I was thinking to myself, alright, great, because then I don't have to have just like one townhouse awkwardly sitting there and have a big Grimmauld Place, because it's meant to be, like hidden or attached to other townhouses, so that worked out really well. And then I was sort of thinking to myself, okay, who can I put in the other townhouse? And I was originally gonna do Wallace and Gromit. I know I haven't put that many non-Harry Potter people into my Henford Bagley save yet, just because it's mostly Harry Potter, but I was thinking to myself, you can't get more English than Wallace and Gromit. It's so English. So I was like, all right, I got to put them somewhere so they can go next door to the Black family. And that's not a sentence I thought I'd ever say. But then as I was building, you can obviously see this does not look like what Grimmauld Place looks like. And this is certainly not what Wallace and Gromit's place looks like. Because I actually looked it up. And I thought to myself, wow, Wallace and Gromit's actual building in canon is absolutely beautiful, and I really want to build it. So Wallace and Gromit is not going here. I'm going to dedicate a whole other lot to them. They will also have townhouses, but not something as fancy as this. But I don't want to miss out on the opportunity to make their absolutely stunning house myself and have them have a neighbour, so it's fine. I still have one more lot within the city of Henford-on-Bagley to play with, so most likely Wallace and Gromit will be going there. I've already made them at this point. So then that leaves me with, who's going to be the neighbours for the Black family? And I have no idea. Obviously, it's not really the Black family. I did go through and I made like a whole bunch of them. I think there's like 10 Black family members at this point. And they're all in there. And I was thinking to myself, in the timeline, I'd like to think that it's a little bit mixed, because Harry is a child, but I kind of really want Remus and Sirius to live here together because I don't have anywhere for them to live yet, and I want them to have nice things. So I'm playing with things a little bit. I'm not even sorry. So Remus and Sirius are going to live here together. I did not have the heart to put Sirius in Azkaban with all the other Death Eaters that I have not built yet. So I was just like, oh, fine. Sirius can live in his old house. So the theme we are going for is fancy, but left to rot fancy. And it also has to be like a little bit magical and everything. So as you can see from the outside, it looks real fancy. It looks really normal. It looks like something you'd see in the everyday. I didn't want to give the outward appearance of something is magical going on inside. It's very deceptive. So you walk up, it's beautiful. You walk inside and you go, oh, this place is a piece of crap. So yeah, I love that I put down pumpkins out the front. I just feel like in my head canon, baby Sirius and Reg carved pumpkins for Halloween one year, and they just put a preservation charm on it. And of course Reg's is the green one, and it's perfect because he wouldn't do anything else. And then Sirius is just this awful sort of reddish one that's just vomiting, and I love the idea that they've still got it out on their doorstep. to this day, and it's just a little reminder of what family once lived here and the different dynamics of that family. Now, the actual townhouse itself, I was going for typically pretty similar to the build I recently did. I recently did Riddle Manor, and that was Muggle dilapidated, and this has to be magical dilapidated, and honestly, they're not that different. I used the same bathroom tile just because I'm currently obsessed with this tile, and I originally had it as 4 floors, but then I was thinking to myself as I was going through, it's too big. Like, actually, from canon, I remember it being very cramped, and obviously expansion charms exist, but a massive family is meant to live here, and it's too big. Like, there's 4 floors. The parents themselves get basically a whole floor to themselves, with their master bedroom, 2 bathroom, 2 dressing rooms, and a parlor. They don't need that, so I shrunk everything down to 3 floors. I also added a basement level, well, 2 basement levels, so it's a little bit Victorian. So on the ground floor, you've got the parlor and the library, a bathroom, and, you know, the main hallway. And then you go down a basement level, and it's actually where the kitchen is, it's where the grand dining room is, and that's where that is. And then you get down 1 more basement level, and you've got basically a den or a bar area, and then there's a secret passageway leading into a magical area where they do all their potion making, and then a place where they keep all of their gold. So I feel like the blacks would not trust Gringotts to keep all of their gold safe, so they do have a cellar at home that has a safe in it from Get Famous, and it's where, like, where they put, you know, their illegal money stuff, and I thought that was really cute. And there's also a jail cell, because I just feel like the blacks wouldn't not have a random jail cell within their townhouse. So that's something that I've headcanoned to be like an area Remus and Sirius have converted into a little safe space for Remus to be during the full moon when he's at Grimmauld Place. So I thought that was really cute. Make something okay out of something that was terrible. I don't like it, but it's the only option. So this is me. I was really particular on the stairwell. I wanted you to be able to look down from the top floor and see absolutely all of the floors underneath, because I like the idea that, you know, multiple people can look down and everything. And I wanted the theme of it to be really cluttered, fancy, and narrow. So everything in this place is, you don't feel like you can really breathe. There's a lot of cobwebs, there's a lot of dark colors, lots of dark tones. There's a few moments within this build where I decorate with very beautiful light colors, and then I have to stop myself and take it back to black because, you know, it's the black family. And I felt like their townhouse within canon was appropriately dark, but too sparse. I wanted to give the feeling of a very wealthy family lives here in place of a manor house in the countryside. Obviously, they would have a manor house in the countryside, but they prefer to live in the townhouse. So they've crammed all of their wealth, all of their bad stuff into this townhouse, and we need to make it appropriately filled and fancy and not a nice place to live. Like, you could walk in here and go, oh, I don't want to be here. On the wall, I actually put down the skulls. They're meant to represent the elf heads, because obviously I don't have elf heads to go around in place. So I put down these skulls in place of what was meant to be the elf heads hanging on the wall. I do go back and I actually do pop in a Wahlburger's portrait that screams at everybody as they walk in the front door, and I absolutely love it to bits. I can't wait for you to see it, because in the photo she's absolutely seething, and I thought that was really appropriate. And unfortunately, I did go and make an entire black family, not the whole family, because that's a big family and I'm not doing that. But I at least made the 3 brothers who then had children, and then they had children, I think. So I think it was Alphard, sorry if I get the names wrong, Alphard, Orion, and Cygnus. Cygnus obviously married someone and had a Andromeda, Narcissa and Bellatrix struggling with the names. And then obviously, Andromeda was disinherited and Bellatrix went off to marry, I've never actually said his name out loud, I'm going to butcher it. Can't do it. Can't do it, gang. Hang on. No, I'm going to get it wrong. I'm confusing him with his brother. Come back to me. I can't think of it. Sorry, man. Even Bellatrix doesn't know how to pronounce your name, honestly. And then you've obviously got Narcissa, who married Lucius, who had Draco. Fantastic. And then Alphard was obviously, the second brother was obviously disinherited. Not entirely sure why. I can't really remember, and I'm not really willing to go back and check. In the land of happy fanfiction and everything, I think he was gay, but I don't think JK made that canon, so I'm hesitant to state that as fact, but in my mind that's what happens, and he's sort of the nice uncle to Sirius, because he does help Sirius out at one point. He gives him gold. And then the last brother, which is obviously Orion, who was the eldest, went on to marry, I think, his cousin Walburga, who was an absolute piece of work. And then they obviously had Sirius and... oh my god. Okay, so this is what I've always wondered, and I really want people to weigh in here. Is it Regulus or is it Regulus? Because I say Regulus and Reg, and I have a terrible feeling it's actually Regulus, and I don't like it. Like, I've read a lot of stories with Regulus in it, and I think I've been pronouncing his name in my head wrong this entire time, but I'm not willing to change at this point. It's too late. It's like my auntie who read the Harry Potter series and thought Hermione's name was Hermione. And until the Goblet of Fire, when Hermione actually spelled it out, she was like, oh, that's not how you say it. Because the movies weren't out then. So she didn't know, I don't think. Or she hadn't seen the movies at that point. Anyway, so as you can see, the parlour is coming together. I did struggle starting out and furnishing this place, honestly. I don't know what mood I was in, but I got to the parlour, I'd done the hallway, I'd done the bathroom, and I was just like, this isn't working. So I actually turned it off, went to bed for the night, and then came back to it the next day, and then the creative juices got flowing. Sometimes you just need to do that, because sometimes the creative flow just isn't there. I haven't clicked onto the theme of the place yet, and it just hasn't, sort of settled into itself. So sometimes you just got to go and come back. So this is me the next morning starting out. I immediately changed the curtains because the old curtains were way too modern. Like, they were dark, but they were way too modern. I needed to stick to something that was really oppressive, so no sunlight for these people. And I just basically went from there. And I did go and get the new pack. The new kit. So recently the 3 kits have come out. It's the Comfy Gamer kit, the Man Cave kit, and the Lady Man Cave kit, which has the secret entrances. And I thought, oh, I'm in need of some secret entrances because, I'm doing the Black family at the moment. Now, back to the Black family itself. Unfortunately, I made this whole last family and they were absolutely stunning. And then I recorded everything and my file got corrupted. So the whole making of the entire Black family is gone and I was devastated. I cannot even tell you. So basically, I tried to repair it. I'm so sorry. But basically just what I've made peace with is that you're not going to be able to see the making of the Black family, but I can at least verbalize in this video what my thoughts were in making them. So basically, I think I made everyone I just described. I basically made the 3 brothers and their kids and went from there. And I just really liked how this townhouse turned out. I think once I got into the creative flow of everything, it just sort of came together. And I'm not used to doing dark, dusty builds, but I've done 2 in a row now and I'm thinking, yeah, I can do this. So I was a little bit unsure about not putting the dining room on the ground floor, because from what I can understand, in the movies, you can enter and you can walk straight back to the dining room kitchen. I don't have it that way because space did not allow, and I didn't feel like it was going to fit because that's a really big dining room and then you've got the kitchen right there and it wasn't fitting anywhere. So I decided to take a bit of leeway and move it all downstairs. So I moved the kitchen and the dining room downstairs, and then the library and the parlour are still upstairs on the ground floor. But I think it works out because I do have the basement level entry at the entry of the property, so you can just, instead of walking onto the ground floor, you could just go right down to the basement level because it's got a little fancy entrance from the outside, and I really liked that. Now with the Black family, I think there's a bathroom on every floor, not a shower, but basically a toilet on every floor because it is a townhouse. And I also made, a guest room, an office, a library, a master suite, some bathrooms, a second parlour on the very top floor where I think Sirius and Reg hang out a lot, and then basically their rooms and their shared bathrooms. So I think it all worked out appropriately. There's enough bedrooms where it's actually, a nice 4-bedroom townhouse with multiple lounge rooms. It's a fancy place to live. And then you've got that basically secret hole basement level that no one is allowed in because, man, that place is creepy and I love it so much. I have just pulled up my Black family tree and I actually realized I just got it wrong. Orion was not the brother of Cygnus and Alphard, while Berger was. See, this is the problem with building the Black family. You've got 2 people that are married that are still in the family, and it's like, I thought they were cousins. I think they are cousins, distant or close. I'm pretty sure they're close. And it's like, oh no, I got it wrong. Well, they're still blood related, so it doesn't really matter. It's all same at the end of the day. So I'll just go through and I'll basically just verbalize what I thought when I built these characters. So I had to actually start off in a very specific way because at this point I'd already built Narcissa and, the Malfoys, and I'd technically already built Bellatrix as well because I just felt like building Bellatrix one day and I recorded it and then I just moved on with my life. So then I had already had those and I wanted to have accurate family ties when I made these Sims. So I had to go and I had to build backwards essentially. So I started off with Andromeda. Now obviously she has beautiful brown hair and I wanted her to have very warm tones. So when you look at her, I thought, alright, she has features of being in the Black family. She's got the same bone structure. She looks a lot like Narcissa, actually. It's Bellatrix that has sort of her features go a bit rogue. Her, eyes are very wide and everything. So with Andromeda, she has a lovely brown hair. She looks kind, but I also wanted her to have a essence of friendliness and just sort of characteristics that would have shown through as an adult after she'd left the Black family to marry Ted Tonks. So she's absolutely lovely, and I wanted the sisters all to have curly hair. I wanted that through line for them because I'd already done Bella and I'd already done Sissy, and I felt like, okay, I need curls. I need that to be a sort of family trait. So I was sort of trying to pick up on very specific little things that I could have through lines for all the family, so that was done. Now, Bellatrix. Bellatrix is basically a crazy bag of cats. She's got the big, massive black hair, very lots of curls. I tried to reminisce about Helena Bonham Carter and her iterations, so it's all very big hair, big eyes, bad teeth, and just sort of very crazy. She also has moles and everything. She's thin, but also quite curvy, and then I wanted her outfit to be still pureblood lady, but pureblood lady who kicks ass. And she is just so weird. You do not want to meet this woman in a dark alley, trust me. So yeah, she is a character. And then I had to build their parents. So basically I did Cygnus and Druella. They're basically same. Druella, not much going on with her. She's very light toned. I wanted her to have old-fashioned family dress, and she's got like a little thing in her hair that keeps her hair back, but otherwise she is actually a Rosier, so she's not a part of the Black family, which I thought was so good, because then I could take the opportunity to make someone that didn't look typically like a Black. So I basically added them together, and then I did her husband Cygnus Black. I basically wanted Cygnus to be the jealous older brother because obviously he is not the heir to the Black family. From what I understand, the male line ran through Orion's grandfather, and then while Cygnus was the eldest of his siblings, I think, apart from Alphard, who was disinherited, and Walburga, who was a female, he was sort of, definitely missed his chance. So I felt like he was a bit maybe jealous of his cousin Orion, and who married his sister Walburga. This family is so weird. So I wanted him to have jealous vibes because obviously he's not the heir. He's not going to be the head of the Black family, but he's still prevalent within that family, and I think that would be hard for him. So he's a bit of a piece of work. So I built him, and he's the father of all the girls. And then I went along and I built Alphard. I never know if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but I've mentioned him before. I wanted him to be kind of face. So what I mean by that is I want you to look at him and go, yeah, this guy was disinherited from the Black family for reasons we're not unsure of. He gave money to Sirius. I think he was Sirius's favorite uncle. So I wanted him to look kind. And I also dressed him in shades of grey. And he doesn't have the beard. He's sort of struck out on his own. So that's sort of altered his appearance. So I do like that about him. I think he's a really fun character, and I'm glad I got the opportunity to make him. And then we move on to Walburga and Orion, obviously cousins and married and having kids. Now, with Orion, obviously he was the heir of the Black family, I'm pretty sure. And then he married and had kids. And I wanted him to have long hair, which would be traditional for a pureblood male of that sort of family era. So he is very, he's got the long hair, but he's quite thin, and I believe I gave him a hunch. And I really wanted him to be sort of in the background compared to his wife, Walburga, who is also a piece of work. This woman is not nice, and we don't like her. And every time I looked at her dress within Cass before I made her, I'm like, that's Walburga's dress. And every time I saw her hair, I was like, that's Walburga's hair. And so when it came time to make Walburga, she was pretty easy. I was like, hair, dress, mean features, let's make her a bit sour looking, and she's done. I gave her some moles. I wanted there to be, subtle signs of inbreeding within the Black family, so there's a lot of moles going around, and skinniness and not good posture, but also some attractive features as in the curls, the dark hair, the grey eyes, and just went from there. So you can all tell that they're very, very, very related in a lot of ways. And then we move on to the man of the hour, Sirius Black. I knew exactly what I wanted Sirius Black to look like, and I nailed it. The long hair, the stubble, the sunken in eyes. He's a tired baby. He's been in Azkaban for a really long time. He's tired, but he's also dashing as well. He's self-centered in a way that's charming, and I just had a lot of fun making him. I wanted there to be aspects of Gryffindor, but also being a black within his wardrobe. So his attire is actually really pureblood-esque. He's got layers, he's got the formal sort of wear, but I don't believe there's a tie to it, and it's also red pinstripes, and I wanted the red pinstripes to sort of reflect his Gryffindor, but also a pureblood aspect of him. And I think he's just a darling, and he's got obviously the swagger walk and beautiful teeth, and he's a little bit tan, and he's got obviously the black hair and the grey eyes, or silver eyes, I'm not really sure. And he's absolutely gorgeous, and I love him so much. I am going to get him a dog. I didn't think of it when I was building the Black family, but obviously we need to include the Grim within the Harry Potter save. So Sirius, while not being a Grim or a werewolf himself, he is actually going to own a shaggy black dog. So that's going to be really, really cute. And I think I'll call him Grim or Padfoot. Oh, he has to be Padfoot. Yes, he has to be Padfoot. So Sirius is going to get a dog called Padfoot, and I made sure to add dog things in the backyard of this townhouse just to be sure, because I had plans. And then we move on to, oh my darling, the real main character of the Harry Potter universe, Regulus or Regulus Black, whichever you prefer to say. I think you could go both ways. He's a sweetie. I struggled with him so much. Like, he started out, I knew there was certain characteristics I wanted him to have. I wanted him to be thinner than Sirius, neater than Sirius. I didn't quite want him to have stubble or a beard yet, because he died quite young. I don't think he was at that point in manhood where it would be appropriate for him to have stubble or a beard. And I wanted his hair to be something that looks like it's well maintained, but he's sort of so stressed out that he's sort of let it, go everywhere. And I didn't know if I wanted him to have curls. Ideally he'd have curls, but then all the curly short hair things were too ruffled, and I really wanted to strike a balance between being neat but also having a spirit of rebellious hidden deep down. So there he is, and he is a young adult. Sirius is also a young adult, but with Sirius I tried to age him a little bit, because obviously he's been in Azkaban, as has Bellatrix, so they are both super aged, but I couldn't bring myself to age Sirius quite that much, because he's a handsome lad and I like that about him. So yeah, that's basically the Black family. And I wanted Regulus to have with his wardrobe, it's all very formal and everything, but it's less formal than you'd think. So he doesn't have the jacket, he has the shirt and the vest, it's all very black, it's very tight fitting. I wanted there to be such a aura of contained tension about him, so everything is like tight fitting, he's strung in, he's got his neat hair, but it's a little bit messy, and that guy is just trying to make it day to day. So I do think he is the unsung hero of the Harry Potter universe, and in my canon that man ain't dead. No way. Like, I've just built an entire Black family, and there's no way I'm going to be killing off Reg, because nah, that man did not go out of his way to try and defeat Voldemort, or at least start off the journey, and then have himself drowned by a bunch of zombies in a lake at the end of God knows where. No. That man is going to be living in like Tartosa or something on a beachside shack with some adopted dogs. He is going to be just fine, ladies and gentlemen. I don't care if he never sees Sirius again. It's sad. I wish they would, but maybe if you guys want to play the save sometime, or maybe if I'm doing a playthrough, they'll just naturally, meet each other again and become friends or anything. I do need to go through and I need to sort out the relationships between everybody, because right now everybody's friends, and it's making me uncomfortable because Sirius is not friends with his family. Now, there is a very specific reason why I built the black family tree the way it was. It's all accurate family ties, so uncles are uncles, cousins are, well, not cousins are cousins, that would be weird and not right. And Sims wouldn't actually allow me to do that, so I didn't go quite that far back in the family tree. I only really did about 2 generations. But it's all accurate family ties, which I love. So, yeah. And then there was a very specific reason I built them, even though a lot of them are dead at this point. I wanted to build the family tapestry that's in the parlor of this townhouse. I think about that family tree so much, and I thought to myself, how am I going to do the family tree on the wall? Like, obviously Wahlberger has blasted Sirius off the family tree, but how am I going to do that? I'm in The Sims over here. I've just got, my imagination and my creative flow and everything. I have to sort something out. So I basically gave it a lot of thought, and I thought, I'm gonna have to build everybody, aren't I? So I built everybody, and I took photos of everybody, and at the end of this video I actually take all the photos and I built a beautiful wall display of all the photos of everybody, and I connect them in terms of how they're related. If you've been disinherited, you are blasted off that wall, so your wall bit has damage, and it's super, 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 super cute, and I love it so much. It gives it charm. And then I made sure to do Wahlberger's portrait, obviously, and then I couldn't help at the very end to do a portrait of Sirius and Reg together on the stairwell, because I just wanted one piece of evidence that they were brothers once, and I do like that about it. I didn't do Creature. Listen, I did Dobby. And if you've seen my Dobby build video, I feel very weird about that whole scenario. Dobby is an elf, but he's also a child, because elves are about the heights of children. So Dobby had to be a child within The Sims 4, and I can't bring myself to make an angry, horrible creature child elf named Creature in The Sims 4 and have it be a child. I can't do it, gang. I can't do it. Look, they're just gonna have to get by. Sirius and Remus are gonna have to live here with their dog, like the absolute beautiful wolf stud that they are, and they're just gonna have to get by. They're gonna have to make their own tea. Creature's not doing anything anyway. He's not cleaning or anything, so he's off. He can be off with Regulus. Let that be the headcanon. You just don't see him. And I also really want to move in some Order of the Phoenix members. So what I want to do is, there's a lot of Order of the Phoenix members that I haven't made yet that I probably won't have room to build houses, so they have to live somewhere. And so I thought, well, why not make the Black family house, the townhouse, the Order of the Phoenix headquarters? So yeah, I'm gonna do that. So I'm definitely going to build Shacklebolt, because I really, really, really want to build that character. And then there's a few others. I don't think I'll do Mudigans. And who else can I do? I've already got Albus, but I really kind of don't want to move Albus into the Black family townhouse. I still want that man to be homeless. I really don't know where to put him. I've put him down as having a cottage, and I'm going to be building him a cottage at some point, very reluctantly, but we'll see. We'll see if something better comes along. Maybe I can just fit him in with Minerva in her basement. I could put him in her basement. Yeah, that'd be appropriate. Okay, so, and then with this parlor room right here, back to the build, it came out too light. Like, it's too bloody cheerful in there. I've got the plants, I've got the reds, I've got the nice creams and the peaches. And I actually go back and I make it less cheerful, because it was looking way too nice to be in there. And I thought, not in my Black family tree. So I go back and I do change this room a little bit. And then I move on and I actually create Regulus's room and Sirius's room, and man, they were a ton of fun. I do like the duality of having their bedrooms right next to each other and having them just be so different, and I do love that aspect of this. But right now I wanted to add in a piano to the townhouse, because I feel like the pianoforte would be a nice something that pureblood women would be forced to learn when they're young, and they would continue that habit into adulthood. I just feel like that's something that would happen. So I do make sure to give them a piano within the Black family house. And then obviously Orion gets a office on the second floor. I do go and I give him a little picture of Wahlberger on his desk. I don't know if he loves her. everything I've heard, mostly, I can't tell the difference between canon and fanfiction at this point, sorry, but everything I've heard saying that he did sort of love his wife. Not that she loved him back, but you know, that's a different story. But I did want him to have a little picture of her on his desk, so I do go back and I put a desk picture of her, really reluctantly. She's not a nice person. Now we have Reg's room. It's green, and obviously Sirius is going to be red, and I like the duality of this. So with Reg's room, it's neat, and it's not all that cluttered, and I made sure to put a lot of like family portraits in here, just so he has like his ancestors looking down at him, judging him, the appropriate amount of tension for a teenage boy. So yeah, and basically I just wanted it to be super simple. I did give him a desk because I feel like he's very studious, and basically that's it. I do like the new fireplaces we got with the new pack. They're kind of really, they're compact, but they're fancy, and they're a little quirky, and I like that. So yeah, I go through and I basically just try my hardest with Reg. Alrighty, and now we come to Sirius Black and his bedroom. Obviously Red, I feel like he had to take some creative liberties with his space, so he changed what he could change. So the floors and the wallpaper are still very Black family-esque, but he's moved in a lot of red, so he's got the red bed sheets, he's got the red curtains, he's got the red armchair, and I feel like he was trying to insert as much Gryffindor as he possibly could into his space. There's a lot of alcohol, there's a lot of girl magazines, there's a lot of trophies and a guitar at one point, and a lot of books, and it is messy in here, and I just feel like it's so teenage, well, not really teenage serious. I think he left when he was a younger teen. But I also put in dog snacks because I felt like, oh, he's a dog. Yeah, that sounds fun. So I made sure to put in dog snacks for him, poor thing. And records as well. I do use the new record player in here, and he's got some records, and I just love that about him. I thought it was so fun. So I really wanted to give him some records. And then it's just a fun place to be. I feel like his room is honestly the nicest place in the house. It's the most homey. It's not the fanciest, but it's the most homey place in the whole wide world. And I gave him posters. I made sure to give him a mixture of band posters, and I wanted to give him like girly posters as well that Wahlberger would absolutely hate. So I do give him some posters like that as well, and I just felt like it's all so fun in here. And he's got such personality, and I thought it was a really good time. Now we come to the second basement level of the Black family townhouse. This was a last minute addition. I didn't know I was going to be adding this in, but I thought, oh, hell with it. I'll make it 4 floors. That's fine. I feel like the Black family needed some dirty secrets within their basement. Like, there's no way the Black family townhouse is as innocent looking as it looks from the outside. So it needed some dark secrets, and I feel like I hadn't quite filled that quota yet. So I go through and I make a second basement level, and I wanted it to be innocent if you'd stumbled upon it initially. So this first room is a bar room. So it's got a bar, it's got like a don't wake the llama table, and it's also got a foosball table. So it's all very innocent. It's something where older pureblood men would probably hang out and have a drink and everything. And I do feel like wine is a big part of their culture, so I did want to add in a nice bar and everything, and I thought it was really fun. And then you have 2 secret bookcase doorways that lead back to the magic room, the dungeon, and the safe room where they keep all their gold and their precious things. In game, I'm gonna make Sirius Black so bloody rich. I don't know if he's technically been disinherited from the family yet, that he doesn't have access to all the gold. Not sure. I'd have to look into that one specifically, because would that make Reg the heir? Would that make Sirius the heir? And in a lot of fanfiction I've read, Harry is actually the heir by default because he's the godson. We'll have to look into that. I just can't imagine a world where Wahlberger didn't officially disinherit Sirius from the position after he left and made Regulus the heir. But then Regulus died. I suppose it goes to Sirius, but I'm not sure the legality there. But anyway, moving on from that, we are doing a nice bar room and everything, and I thought it turned out so fun. I was running out of space real hard, but I thought it was very appropriate for what I was actually building. And at this point, I was getting a bit tired, and I really just wanted the Black family to just sort of be coming to an end soon. So I do go back and I just try and fill it up as fast as I possibly can. I got out all the bar stuff and just tried my best. Now, when I said that I was going to do a magic room for the Black family, it wasn't going to be nice and cheerful. There's a lot of beautiful wood tones that you get with the magic pack, and I was not going to do any of that. It is depressing, and it is all about the dark magic down there, because that's predominantly, what they practice on the side. So I really wanted it to be dank. It's not a nice place to be, and it's sort of like, it's got very ritual vibes to it. So I thought I had a lot of fun doing up this room, and I actually added a lot of detail to the walls. I don't know, I got started with this sort of bricklaying pattern, and then I just really wanted to see it through. So I do go through and I add a lot of small detail to the walls. There's obviously chains and pillars hanging around because, why wouldn't they? But I did have a lot of fun doing that. Obviously there's a cauldron in the middle, and I just wanted to give it not nice vibes. It's sort of like you do not ever want to find yourself within this room with any of the Black family, because they're a bunch of nutters. And I did like that about them. I do love the windows here. I feel like it really added to the area, and I just felt like it was so much fun. And I just wanted to give the walls, oh, how to explain it? I wanted to give them body, a lot of texture. So this is what we went through and did, and I felt like it turned out really well. Okay, so here we come to the end. I like to add some minor details at the end. So obviously I moved Sirius and Remus in. I gave Orion a picture of his wife on his desk. And then I did the boys in the stairwell. And then I did a beautiful family tapestry I tried to be experimental with the tapestry. I wasn't sure how I was actually going to do it. I had the floral wallpaper in the back as a base, and then I just basically went from there. It took me a moment to figure out who everyone was and how I could actually display them as married versus siblings versus married cousins. So basically I just tried my best. Anyone that has a line attached to their portrait is a direct member of the Black family, as in they have black blood. There's only 2 people within this whole family tree that don't start out with a line connected to their thing, because they're not part of the Black family, and that's so weird. I think it's only like Druella and Lucius, the only 2 people within this thing that don't have black blood. That's a little bit weird. And then I also just wanted to have it sort of branch off, and then I wanted there to be very specifically a look you get when you have someone who's been disinherited. So I do put a burn mark / mark behind their portraits of the people who have been disinherited. Thought it turned out so great. I did add Draco and Lucius in there just because I wanted to bulk it out a little bit, but I just thought it turned out so fun. And then we obviously have the angry portrait of Wahlberger as you walk in. Isn't she ghastly? So that's really it. Thank you so much for coming along. My voice is absolutely gone at this point, but thank you so much for coming along. I hope you enjoyed this build. It took a really, really, really long time, and I just enjoyed it so much. I love the fine details I was able to inject within this build, and now, unfortunately, I have a whole lot of Black family members that I have to go and kill to make them canon accurate. I might start a graveyard because, you know, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to have to do it correctly. So thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you again. Bye-bye.